The track Too Tough to Tame, as Darlington is known, is fast, unforgiving, and treacherous, showing no mercy for even the slightest on-track errors in judgment. Make a mistake here, and it will cost you dearly. I am Emerson Arden. My good friend and colleague Landon Cardulo is alongside myself in the virtual booth this evening. We're excited to be bringing you live coverage from the virtual Darlington, South Carolina, here on VIRacing.com motorsport simulations platform. And Landon, the lady in black, looks to have her way with these Glytch Truck Series drivers. What will drivers then have to do in order to impress in their tango?
Oh man, first and foremost, glad to be back. Took a little 2-week vacation from the booth, so again, happy to be here with one of my best colleagues, Emerson Arden. Man, Emerson, I think a lot of drivers have been dreading for this this track coming up. I mean, a lot of drivers love it, a lot of drivers hate it. Basically known as your throwback race, as we're going to be seeing a lot of beautiful throwback paint schemes tonight. But man, this track is difficult. I mean, you got turns 1 and 2. You're looking at about 25 degrees for the banking, and turns 3 and 4 at 23 degrees. So 1 and 2, you're pretty much going full throttle. 3 and 4, you're actually coming to kind of a dead stop with how the track is laid out. Fun little fact for you guys. So this track was actually built on a next to a minnow pond, and they didn't want to destroy the pond, so they built around it. That's why it gets its egg-shaped form.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's a little weird there off of turn number 4, and the corners are different corners, which I think brings for a lot of fun for these drivers. You have 2 completely different corners out there on the track. What's not completely different though, Landon, is the drivers are atop the point standings and the gap at the top of the point standings. Look at that. Joshua Balliet and Ryan Johnson are tied atop the point standings, both of them with a win apiece though, Landon, but 200 points for the both. They have 20 points then over Kyle Westwood, 177 over 2-time winner Dean Brummett. Reese Schaefer brings it up in 5th. But Landon, just take a look at this and try to get an overhead shot at what's going on throughout the series. What are you taking away from these point standings?
Oh man, Emerson, it's close. I mean, we're just a few weeks ago, we're in Daytona and we're looking at a couple of these guys and it was like, wow, these guys aren't really having good races. But I mean, and two, for the fact of that is Joshua Balliet and Ryan Johnson. We saw Josh, he won at Sonoma, and Ryan Johnson, I believe, won last week, or won last week. I mean, so I mean, they're back where they expected to be. But we're also looking at, a 2-time winner of Dean Brummett, and he's sitting in 4th. You would think he'd be in 1st, but it's just how amazing and even these guys race in these points. I tell you otherwise.
Absolutely. And so that's a look then at what these drivers or the way these drivers are going to be coming into the series tonight. And so we'll now have a look at what's tonight's attire, right, Landon? We are looking at these drivers to dress in some throwback liveries. I think it's time, it's a proper time, Landon, for us to meet some of the throwbacks. And of course, we're throwing it back in time here at the Speed Racing Network. The Mid-South Madness was the first iteration of Speed Racing Network, and then we switched to Speed Racing Network, and now we are now into our 5th season. What we have now, the Speed Racing Network Glytch Truck Series here at Darlington, Landon. Look at that. How about it is Timothy Latham with a beautiful throwback for that number 5 machine.
Yeah, and we're throwing it back to 2002. Tony Stewart, Branson McCannon. What a beautiful paint scheme, throwing it back to a legend right there.
Reese Schaefer bringing out the cow machine there and shouting out some family members there. How about this? This is Jay McDonald with a Gordon throwback there.
Absolutely. Always got to go Gordon. At 28 truck, I mean, we've seen this plenty of times. What an iconic throwback.
Yeah, the Haviland scheme, and then the Dale Jr. throwback here out of Sean Jensick. Very excited to see how those will perform on the track. Dean Brummett bringing out the Todd Bodine livery from 2009, and Bradley Brandon with a Kyle Busch livery event, the Z-Line livery from Xfinity.
Never forget about that Z-Line livery. But going back to 1990, Cole Trickle, Austin Purnell throwing it back to that legend, as well as the 39 of Jordan Sailors throwing it back to it. I mean, it's a Matt Kenseth paint scheme, just different colors.
Here we got Bobby Anderson with Johnny Benson, throwback Benson. Of course, a great truck series driver. And though it's just some of the paint schemes these drivers will be running in the field tonight, that isn't everyone's throwback liveries. Those are just the ones we were privy to knowing before things got to action tonight. I think now, Landon, we have about 4 minutes left in qualifying. I think it's time to take a look at what's going on out there on the timing sheet. Dean Brummett has yet to set a lap time. And actually, as we speak about that, Dean Brummett is out there on the track right now getting up to speed. So let's go ahead and join Dean Brummett right in the thick of his qualifying run. So here's Brummett off of turn number 4. He's going to slow it down and he'll reset. Brummett is not happy with that outlap then for the 31 truck. But it's Reese Schaefer currently at the top of the board. Landon, then Michael Politis, Michael Sturgill, Joshua Balliet, Austin Purnell, then the top 5. Doc Holliday coming to start a lap here in the 9 truck.
Yeah, absolutely, Emerson. And going to kind of where we discussed with how this racetrack is, I mean, you could see the 9 truck's pretty much full throttle through 1 and 2.
How about that paint scheme, man?
It's beautiful. And honestly, when Darlington is on the schedule, that is one of my favorite tracks to be circled around, because it is. That's definitely gonna not be a good lap right there. But again, like I was mentioning, I'm a paint scheme maker. I love making these throwbacks, because you don't really have to, throw back to anything. You kind of can do any year you want, any driver you want. You don't have to be specific. So definitely one of those things where it's a fun project.
How about our two-time winner on the season, Landon Dean Brummett, in that Todd Bodine throwback? Here he is trying to run it off. Turn number 4, nearly catch up to that outside wall, but Dean Brummett will cross the stripe, and Brummett, he'll slot in there 17th.
Yeah, another little thing too about this track is, I mean, you're also sending it down in a 1 and 2, and you're right up on the wall. Hence why they call it the Darlington stripe. I mean, even 3 and 4, you see how different these corners are, and you get right up against that wall on the exit of 4, which gets that run.
So Dean Brummett done with his second lap. He'll go top of the charts, but 29.06. And so Dean Brummett now moving top of the charts. 25 drivers at set time. Bradley Brandon, Michael York, and Connor Cunningham have yet to set time tonight. Here in qualifying, I know it says Cunningham's name there over Ryan Johnson 14th, so it's Ryan Johnson then in that 14th position. But other than that, the left side of your screen has our current qualifying order. And landing with about 70 seconds left. We already kind of talked about the differing shapes of the corners here and the middle pond off of turn number 4. But Landon, when it comes to this track, right, why is it so difficult when you load up into the sim and you get out there, right? It's 3 lanes, right? But in theory, it should be pretty easy to navigate, right?
I mean, you would think. This track is just it's unique. And yes, there's 3-4 lanes, as you can see on the front stretch there. You think you can go as wide as you can, but given how narrow these corners are, I mean, we see people, launching it into turn 1 at the very, very bottom lane under the apron pretty much and kind of sliding up. It's difficult. It really is. I mean, like we mentioned, I mean, you're kind of going top speed through 1 and 2, but that can also mean, with the way these trucks are built, you're getting loose off the corners or even entry to the corners. So I think if you're driving this, you kind of want to sit back and see how everybody takes the corner and kind of set your positions up there.
Well, we saw last night, Landon, in the 90-lap B truck event, the Fiverr Truck Series drivers. They had 8 cautions in the first 60 laps, and then they had a 25-lap green flag run to the checkers. It was a very intriguing way for that race to play out. What we will have tonight, well, we don't know, but what we do know is our starting lineup for tonight's Glytch Truck Series round number 6 here at Darlington. And it's time to go through our starting lineup then, Landon. Dean Brummett on that front row. He'll have Reese Schaefer to his outside. Brummett setting that 29.062. In row number 2, it'll be Michael Politis and Michael Sturgill. Row 3, Joshua Balliette and Austin Purnell. Jordan Sailors, Timothy Filet from 7th and 8th. Gabriel Ellison and Sean Jensick then. The top 10. Landon, take us through the next 10.
11th, we got Devin Zimmerman. 12th, Kyle Gilbert. 13th, Lane Hoser. 14th, Ryan Johnson. Round out the top 15, we have Brad Herman. 16th, Byron McDonald. 17th, Bobby Anderson. 18th, Tyler Markle. And 19th, we got Craig Schroeder. And starting right next to him is Alb Hewins.
Abby Hewins there in the 88 machine in the 20th position. Rounding out the rest of the field then is the 9 truck of Doc Holliday. 79 of Brian McAvoy starts 22nd. Row 12 will be Lane Doyle and Branson McCannon. Row 13, Gerald Poole, Bradley Brandon, Michael York, and Connor Cunningham. Bench start shotgun on the field. Well, we have a moment, Landon. We do want to shout out the membership program, now a part of the Speed Racing Network YouTube channel. Make sure you, of course, scroll down right next to that subscribe button and take a look at all the perks you can get from joining the membership here with Speed Racing Network. Of course, it's $5 a month. You get loyalty badges, custom emojis, exclusive wallpapers and photos, early access to new content, member shoutouts, members only live chats, and priority reply to comments. Again, it'll be right there next to that subscribe button. if you wish to indulge into some of the perks of a Speed Racing Network membership. And of course, while you're down there, if you would like to take a look at that subscribe button and make sure it's not the color red. If it is, why don't you go ahead and press it, make it the color gray, and get yourself subscribed to the Speed Racing Network. If you're here, you are at least somewhat invested into the racing action tonight, and I think it'd be best for you to stay up to date then with the action here at the Speed Racing Network. Landon getting ready to do battle here at Darlington. Final thoughts before we go green?
You know, Emerson, like I said, I've had this track circled on my list, so I'm excited to see how these guys race this track.
I am very excited as well. And so VIRacing.com safety vehicle will make that hard left-hand turn into the safety of pit lane. It'll then lend the field into the hands of the 31 of Dean Brummett in that Todd Bodine livery, and we're racing from Darlington. Caution already out on the speedway, and Devin Zimmerman in trouble. Devin Zimmerman has gone round off of turn number 1, and there's already some rear end damage to that 33 machine.
Yeah, what a tough break for Devin. He hasn't had the start to the season that he's wanted, but see this replay and see if he, can get at least get a little bit of damage fixed from the truck.
Well, we're gonna catch that one a little late. Big time damage there from that boot from Lane Doyle. We're gonna try to go back and get a better look at what happened to Devin Zimmerman down in turn number 1. Here's the restart. Zimmerman in that black and orange number 33 machine on the inside lane there in front of you. He's got Sean Jensen to the outside. Latham chops on down, but into turn number 1. Gets into the back of the 5 machine. He goes around, little tap there, and Doyle nowhere to go.
Yeah, Emerson, and kind of touch base on it, how narrow this corner 1 and 2 is, and you kind of saw that everybody gets stacked up, and of course on the start you can't really go, flying through the corner, so it looked like just a big accordion effect, and Devin Zimmerman got the worst of it.
Unfortunate incident early then for the 33 of Devin Zimmerman, bringing the first stoppage of action early here at Darlington. Making lap 3 of 110. In our first caution period of the day, Devin Zimmerman has made his way down the pit lane. Lane Doyle, Gerald Poole, Connor Cunningham also taking advantage of this caution. Lane Doyle actually has some damage, so he's getting some damage repairs. Connor Cunningham decides to bolt on a fresh set of tires, and he'll be down and away. Gerald Poole also with some damage there, getting some service. And so while we got a moment then, Landon, we're going to take a step aside and give a quick shout out to our commercial partner here at the Speed Racing Network. Butt Kicker has a message for you. Don't go anywhere. Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Darlington Raceway, where the Speed Race Network Glytch Truck Series field heads their way through turns number 3 and 4, and we're getting ready for racing action once again. We'll try to get a proper start Ven this time. Dean Brummett has the field in his control and racing once again from Darlington. Most of the field Van in one piece. It's Dean Brummett who heads Reese Schaefer, Michael Sturgill, Michael Politis, and Joshua Balliet Van the top 5.
Yeah, Dean Brummett got a very good start on that restart. Kind of pulled away from Reese Schaefer. That's what you're looking to do, especially at this track, because it's not really prior tracks that we've been to where it's draft dependent. So good start for Dean Brummett. Good start for the rest of the field for keeping it clean.
Yeah, Brummett trying to get his 3rd win on the season. Balliet trying to surge forward and get his 2nd to the inside of the 77 of Michael Politis. Balliet goes. Balliet clears up in front of the 77, and Balliet is up into 4th.
Yeah, and this is one of them tracks where you also got to realize tire wear is huge on this track. So, you know, a couple 15, 20 laps, your truck's starting to get loose, and it's kind of a really hard place to pass at. So get your spots now and just set the tone for the rest of the race.
Battle here between Austin Purnell and Sean Jensick. Remember, Landon, stage is at lap 30. Guaranteed caution, and the top 10 will receive stage points. How hard you race until that point is dependent on you. Kyle Vincent Gilbert all over the tailgate van of Timothy Latham and nearly into that 5 machine. Everyone nice and stable off of the corner. And this is Lane Hostler looking to the inside of Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Hostler backs off. Gilbert holds station in 10th.
Yeah, smart move by Lane Hostler right there. I mean, he just taking it easy. Make sure that you don't really get in the back of them, because everybody has their different braking points, especially going into 3 and 4 here, as we saw. We already got the first Darlington stripe from the 58.
And Kyle Vincent Gilbert catches the wall. Hostler gets by. Here comes Ryan Johnson. So great stuff then from Hostler to force Kyle Vincent Gilbert into that mistake. Gilbert, great job at staying calm and not letting the situation get to him, and able to hold station. He'll fall back to 12th, and he'll be able to regroup and try it again. Further forward, it is Dean Brummett with a 4.5 of a second advantage over Reese Schaefer. Sturgill about 1.3 seconds back. Balliet 2.2 seconds back. And Allison trying to get around Politis here. Politis had a bad turn number 2, and Allison breezes by the 77. Here off of turn 4, here's a good run. Hostler on Latham. Hostler being smart early here, trying not to get into trouble. Ryan Johnson tags the wall a little bit.
Yeah, Emerson, that definitely, we saw him kiss the wall a little bit there, but it's definitely not as bad as, you know, what we saw the 58 do. And unfortunately with this track, I mean, when you get into the wall, square into the wall, it kind of just stops your truck. So a lot of drivers got to be aware of that situation as well.
Here we go into turn 1. Hostler with the inside position on Timothy Latham. Hostler clears the 5, and now Johnson has the inside line on Latham. Johnson files back. Hostler in 9th. And Brad Herman trying to get the spot on Kyle Vincent Gilbert.
Yeah, we see it. The 58 kind of losing a little spot, losing a few spots there. I'm not sure if that damage kind of affected him.
Here's a tight battle. Sailors and Bradley Brandon fought hard in the turn number 1, and the Sailors merging on top in that battle. Johnson all over the tailgate of Timothy Latham. Doesn't make any desperate move yet. Here's a battle shaping up then for the 6th position. This is Sean Jensick searching on the 77 of Michael Politis. Oh, truck hard at the wall. That's Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Oh, and more chaos behind. Looks like everybody holds station. Bradley Brandon in trouble. Under attack from the 47. And here we go. Johnson on Timothy Latham into turn 1. Johnson lifts and allows Latham to hold that spot for the time being. Both of them really up against that outside wall. Johnson turns down in the center of 1 and 2. Johnson trying to get that run down the back.
Yeah, Emerson, I mean, we know these trucks are pretty stable, but I don't think they're that stable for how hard those guys kind of smacked the wall there, as we got a great battle for the 6th and 7th position.
Also, things still shaping up back here. Tyler Markle, Bobby Anderson. I'm sorry, Tyler Markle and Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Markle trying to take advantage of the 58. He'll muscle his way by Kyle Vincent Gilbert. And now here we go. That's that battle you were talking about. Jensen got the run. He sails it into turn number 3. Uh-oh. He's going to put it in the wall. Politis will have a chance to strike back. Off of turn number 4, Politis doesn't make that run. But Jensick sends it. He was committing to it. And Politis almost had a response immediately. Latham, by the way, has now trickled outside the top 10 behind Brad Herman. Latham back to 12th. Here we go. This is McCannon on Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Gilbert dropping straight down the field. Caution on the speedway. And Devin Zimmerman in trouble again. A bad day gone worse for the 33 machine. And we'll try to see what happened. This one 3 wide here.
Yeah, we saw him have that incident on, the first lap, and
oh no.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he just got hooked right there.
I don't know if he didn't know they were 3 wide or something else happened. We caught that a little late. Try to get another look at it. And here we go off of turn number 2. Oh, he got sideways up off the corner, and he didn't know they were 3 wide. He came back up and hit Michael York, and that was that. York didn't know Devin was coming right back up the track, and that was that. Bradley Brandon also involved in that one, but mainly Devin Zimmerman, the main recipient to the damage in that one.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the damage that Devin had, it probably didn't, his truck's not handling like he wanted to, and kind of just got loose off the corner and opened up that spot for I believe it was the 94?
84 then of Michael York.
The 84, yes, the 84, and it's just one of those things, going into the corner, and especially with a narrow turns 1 and 2, and somebody has to give, and nobody did, so...
Also, what nobody did is nobody inside the top 20 pitted under that caution. The top 21. Craig Schroeder has come down to pit lane. He's topped off on fuel. Zimmerman is in for damage. Kyle Vincent Gilbert in for damage, I would imagine. Bradley Brandon. A little bit of damage. There's the 28 of Connor Cunningham. Not too much damage to him, so he's down and away. Michael York, not too much damage, down and away.
Emerson, I kind of got mixed feelings about this call. I mean, we see the guys that got damaged, coming down the pit, but we also see the guys that, like you mentioned, nobody else came down to pit, which is really surprising due to the fact that the stage ends in 10 laps. I mean, what would you do, Emerson? Would you come down, get fresh tires, kind of set yourself up to maybe get back into the top 10, but you still have a lot fresher tires than everybody else? Or do you stay out and try to get as many positions as you can?
If I was running towards the back of the midfield, I would definitely take this opportunity. See how many sets of tires we have, I guess. It would be one thing. But take this opportunity and come down to pit lane, right? And set yourself up. Maybe really baby it on this restart, right? You're not going to get stage points. Might as well just baby it. Come around, catch that mandatory caution at lap number 30. And pass everyone who decides to pit on that yellow.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to look at it. I mean, obviously you have prior experience from racing at this track, and so have I, and we're kind of used to the good old iRacing setup where it gets tight. After if you're 1 and 2, it gets really snug, and you can't really full throttle through that corner. So, like you mentioned, kind of being in the back, kind of being able to experience with 9 to go. Kind of see what your truck does compared to everybody else and see how many positions you can gain.
Absolutely. And so here, if you're inside that top 10, right, and you feel you can hold that spot in the top 10, definitely you're going to stay out here and go for those stage points. But if you're inside the top 10 and you feel the trucks behind you are going to pounce on you, you're not going to hang on, I also would have considered coming in and setting yourself up to do it once again. But maybe it was too early. Maybe it's too early to be thinking all of that, right? It's going to be 8 laps to go in the stage when we get back to racing. Maybe that's too many laps on tires.
Yeah, and when it comes to racing, nobody ever knows, how your truck's going to feel after a certain amount of time. So we got people that, save their stuff, and we got people who kind of just drove it in and wish for the best. So like you mentioned, going to be curious to see, once that stage ends and see who comes down and who doesn't.
Well, I know who's coming down now, and it's that iRacing.com safety vehicle, which will make that hard left-hand turn into the safety of pit lane, leaving the field in the hands of Todd Bodine. Wait, no, that's Dean Brummett. We're racing once again from Darlington. A great restart from Dean Brummett, a half-second advantage over Reese Schaefer, and things are heating up back here. Balliet on Sturgill, side by side through turns 1 and 2, and they're gonna duel it off of turn number 2. Balliet and Sturgill still side by side as they roar down to turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, these guys want those positions. It is coming to the end of this stage as we see it kind of cleared itself there. But Emerson, you did mention, Dean Brummett, and you also kind of called him Todd Bodine there for a second. I mean, we remember watching Todd Bodine, and he was dominant when he raced. I mean,
in those Truck Series races for sure.
Absolutely, him, Ron Hornaday, everybody else, and that his nickname, the Onion, his bald head. But yeah, I mean, Dean Brummett's kind of acting like, the Onion right now, kind of dominating this race so far.
So far, it is early, but a lot of momentum positively into the direction for Dean Brummett. And so we'll keep our eyes on that. Bradley Brandon and Kyle Vincent Gilbert and Bradley Brandon, they make contact in turns 1 and 2, and Kyle Vincent Gilbert holds on.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example from when I mentioned about how wide you can go in these corners, as you saw Kyle Gilbert kind of go below that white dotted line, which is, I want to say, considered the apron. And I mean, when you get under the apron, it kind of just shoots your car right back up. So good job on Kyle for kind of slowing it down and not making that situation even more worse.
Well, the thing is about Darlington, right? And yes, that is the apron below that dotted white line, dashed white line. But It was actually the opposite way around. Oh, and Sean Jensick has pounded the wall down in turns 3 and 4. Jensick loses a couple spots. 2 laps to go in stage number 1, and here's Latham on Jensick. This is a hard-fought battle, and the caution's gonna come out.
I believe that's going to be the stage right there as well.
Yeah, Byron McDonald in trouble, and the caution comes out. That should, in theory, be the stage. And we'll try to see what happened, Ven. So Byron McDonald. We're going to catch this one a little late. Oh, major netcode. Major netcode there between Bradley Brandon and Byron McDonald. Here we go. We'll get a look at it here. Bradley Brandon in that outside wall, trying to turn it off. The wall bounces off and comes down and catches the 24 for good measure. Now, they were definitely going to make contact regardless, but still some major netcode.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's one of those things, as we saw, you know, the 35 of Bradley Brandon, he got in that incident prior in the previous caution. But I'm looking at the 24 truck. I mean, he kind of hit flush with the wall, so I'm not too sure there's that much damage. I mean, I think he should be okay.
Certainly something to think about, but here we go. The field has worked their way down the pit lane, and it is Dean Brummett leading the field down. I imagine that is everyone conceding that this is the end of the stage.
I gotta stop talking about pit strategy. It never seems to anything to change in my favor. So it looks like everybody came down
and away. Reese Schaefer wins the race off pit road.
Oh wow!
Oh man! And that is a power move right there. Well, I'm going to assume that is our stage caution, and so Landon, we are going to have the chance then to talk to our stage winner driver of the number 31, and it is Dean Brummett getting it done here in stage number 1. Ended a little prematurely there, but nonetheless, the stage winner, Dean Brummett. Todd Bodine bringing back some of that Bodine magic, the onion, doing some dominating early here at Darlington.
Yeah, had a real good first stage, learned a lot in practice, and I think you got some very ill-handling trucks here, but right now mine feels very good. Not real happy about losing the lead under that pit sequence there. I was right on the chip and just somehow managed to get beat, but it is what it is. And, you know, like I said, kudos to the 17 crew there for getting Reese out in front of me. So we'll see what happens here. Long race to go, and just got to take care of the equipment to make sure that we are there at the end.
Absolutely. That run there, that was a bunch of short little spurts there to bring it to the conclusion of stage 1. I'd imagine that this series, this field has the opportunity to go for some longer runs. So how do you pace yourself, right? Especially if you were to lose the lead here on the restart and you fall into dirty, how do you pace yourself to not overdo it, but to not lose your chance of getting that track position either?
It's hard to do. You know, you always hear the old cliche of race the track, not the other guys around you. And this is definitely a track that you got to take that mentality into. Once I learned how to actually do it here at Darlington, it changed everything for me. So, like I said, a lot of race to go. Going to fire off here at P2 and see if we can't maybe get this lead back in some beautiful, exciting, possibly stupid fashion off of 2 here and get that clean air back.
Right on, Dean. Well, congratulations then on the stage victory. Best luck to you the rest of the way. Hopefully we're talking to you a little later on, bud.
All right. Thank you, guys. Root on this beautiful Todd Bodine throwback Quantum Fuel Systems Toyota. And just want to thank everybody for coming on board tonight.
Absolutely. And so that is your stage 1 winner, the Onion, Dean Brummett then in the Todd Bodine livery, and Reese Schaefer. What he's running here, and he did submit it as a throwback, but more than anything, and just a quick tidbit on Reese's paint scheme. That is a shout out to his father and grandfather, some farmers in Michigan, and that's the Michigan Milk Producers Association that is on the hood of that machine. And so the iRacing.com safety vehicle gives the field into the hands of the cow truck, and we are racing once again from Darlington. And the caution is going to come out. It's Branson McCannon and Lane Doyle involved in this one. Let's try to see what happened here between Branson McCannon and Lane Doyle. This one in front, and oh, it's Kyle Vincent Gilbert sideways. Oh, Lane Doyle really nowhere to go in all of that. Vincent Gilbert catches the 47, and McCannon also gets loose.
I was gonna say I don't really see much damage on those trucks, but I mean after those hits, there's got to be some. That was hard.
The crazy thing about that one, Landon, is it looked like Kyle Vincent Gilbert and Branson McCannon lost control of their trucks simultaneously but separately, and Lane Doyle got involved in both of them somehow. Wow. Unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is, and we saw Kyle Gilbert get loose there, and Branson McCannon really nowhere to go, so he kind of hits the back of the 47. I'm not too sure if the 47 hit anything besides just getting bumped in the back, but we shall see right here.
And we're gonna ride on board here with McCannon and just see how this truck goes right around. We saw this a couple times yesterday as well, Landon, but after this replay, I want you to tell me, is this getting on the seam, or is this cold tires, or what do you think this one is? We have a turn number 2, and it just loops right around.
Yeah, Emerson, I think it's a little bit of both. Also, kind of throwing the fact that some of these drivers race with a kind of like a lower set brake bias, so hence I think it looks like Branson kind of hit the brakes there, and it just got him really loose and then into the back of the Lane Doyle right there, and just nowhere to go for Lane Doyle as well.
Here, Kyle Vincent Gilbert, that one he caught the apron, and so multiple factors for that one. And Kyle Vincent Gilbert looks like there might be, no, I think he might have gone away without some suspension damage on the 58 machine, but it's been a rough day for Kyle Vincent Gilbert and his steady drop down for running order. Nope, there is some suspension damage.
Yeah, there is suspension damage right there. Wow, that hurt.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, you can see the tire kind of wiggling around. That definitely messed up there. Well, Emerson,
Yeah.
as we're going back, I don't think Lane Doyle got any other damage besides just getting kind of hit in the back there. It looks like he kept it clean, staying off the wall.
There's Lane Doyle. Yeah, the truck looks relatively clean. Doyle looks like he's clear to continue. I can't say the same for Kyle Vincent Gilbert or Branson McCannon. But there's Lane Doyle. And, well, we've got a moment. We're going to take a step aside and hear another message once more from our commercial partner here at the Speed Racing Network. A quick message from Butt Kicker. Don't go anywhere. Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Darlington Raceway. We are getting ready to do battle once again. The field in the hands of Reese Schaefer, who has elected the outside lane, and we are racing once again from Darlington. Some great timing then from some tank racing teammates, and the caution is going to come out. This one, I believe, involving, I'd have to guess then, the 28 of Connor Cunningham. And another pause in the action here at Darlington, Landon. See what happened.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too much damage, but I guess we shall see. It may be another incident where it's just cold
Devin
fire.
Zimmerman involved in this one. Oh, goodness.
Tough break for Devin. I know talking to Devin, kind of throughout the weeks, this is not the season that he's really had planned, getting started on, but there's plenty more weeks to go. He's just got to kind of gather everything and kind of get down, as he got some help from the 35 there. Man, it's tough.
Yeah, I think Devin, right? He's had a little bit of a wild race to this point, right? So he probably took it a little easier into turn number 1 than maybe the 35 was expecting, and unfortunately, the 35, for lack of a better description, just drove right through him. But Devin does make a nice little save, maybe with the aid of a couple cars. But unfortunately, Iverson does detect that as a spin, and will bring out the caution once again.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what a great save from Devin. I know he's got some damage on his truck, and it's not really where he wants it to be. But I mean, just there's no damage, so it doesn't add any more injury to his truck. So. But yeah, I mean, Devin's one of those guys that he shows up every week, no matter what the situation is. So he just needs the poker chips to kind of go on his side and get some luck.
Absolutely. And speaking of luck, I think Schaefer and Balliet, granted, I know they're friends, and I'm at I've been a part of Tank Race. I know that there is some sort of teamwork going on here, but they have been able to coordinate that last restart beautifully to get them both clear of the rest of the field. And I do want to see if we can maybe take a look at that restart, because that was done very well. Let's see what happened then on the restart. And while we have a moment, I think this is a proper way to go about it. But here's the restart. Schaefer on the left side of your screen, and Balliet on the right, racing there. And Schaefer gets away. Balliet able to stay in front of Brummett up into the corner, clears up in front of Gabriel Ellison, and that's great work between teammates. Ellison and John, I mean, some great drivers up here nonetheless. I mean, everybody inside of the top 10, maybe with the exception of Sergio because he's new, but has won here in SRN, and Sergio in 6th. He was very fast last week at Milwaukee in his debut. But yeah, an intriguing restart there from the teammates. It worked out well. I wonder though, with that restart, Landon, and you see how Brummett and Ellison responded to that restart. If they do it again, will it work out differently?
I'm not too sure. I mean, a lot of people don't know that in this series you're allowed to, if you're the leader, you're allowed to choose what lane you want, and we could see a lot of people kind of forgetting that rule and kind of just sticking to the bottom each time there's a restart. So Reese definitely taking advantage, especially with his teammate being on the inside there. But you're also looking at, hey, Dean Brummett is one of the fastest trucks in this race right now. So if I can kind of get a teammate to beside me to kind of block his run, then I'm going to do that. And that is a perfect example right there, as you got, Reese Schaefer starting on the top, and Joshua Balliet kind of holding Dean Brummett up so Reese can get that run.
Absolutely. A quick look throughout the field. Some big movers. Gabriel Ellison up 6 spots from where he started. Ryan Johnson up 8. Ellison in 3rd. Johnson in 6th. Brad Herman up 6 from where he started in 9th. And so the iRacing.com safety vehicle will make that hard left-hand turn into the safety pit lane and give the field into the hands of the Michigander, Reese Schaefer. And we are racing once again from Darlington. Looks like a truck may have pounded the wall, and Connor Cunningham slow on the bottom of the racetrack, but racing action continues into turns 3 and 4. That time Ellison was able to time that restart a little better. Ellison gets clear of Balliet, and we got a truck sideways. That's Sean Jensick. Sideways, he'll hang on to that machine in the back. We stay green up front. Brummett around the outside of Balliet, and a brilliant overtake from Dean Brummett.
Yeah, I mean, what a save from Sean Jensick there. I for sure thought he was going to get that inside wall, but a great maneuver to kind of pin it back forward. But yeah, I mean, we got some new people up in front. Gabriel Ellison kind of got that position on that restart up to P2, and we'll see how fast his truck is to see if he can have anything for Reese Schaefer.
And the action is all throughout the field. I know some drivers have been taken out as a result of the lady in black and being a little hungry for some action, but tonight we still have some great battles going on throughout the field. Purnell and Johnson, a good one here for the 6th position.
Yeah, absolutely. And a name that, you know, we always tend to mention running in the top 10, Austin Purnell, having kind of a quiet night, but definitely keeping his truck clean and kind of being in the spot where you really need to be, you know, up there, not getting in anybody's way, but you're also contending for the win. And a little information, Emerson. I mean, Gabriel Ellison runs for Jonathan Byer Racing in the Xfinity Series, and obviously Dean Brummett is in the, you know, Jonathan Byer Racing for the Truck Series. So I'm not sure. I don't really talk to them that much, but I'm not sure if they kind of communicate with each other before the race, hence being somewhat teammates. But that could also give a lot of, you know, hey, I'm going to help you. I'm not going to race you as hard just to get that position.
And of course, I think another thing that helps is Gabriel Ellison. He is a long-time driver here at Speed Racing Network. He was back here when it was Mid-South Madness. Speaking of Throwback Week, I think it's appropriate that we bring up Mid-South Madness a couple times. And he was there with Dean Brummett in the thick of it when Mid-South Madness had a couple seasons that transitioned into Speed Racing Network. He has definitely had his fair share of racing with Dean Brummett, and from the looks of it, it looks like it's gone pretty well because they are racing each other with some pretty nice respect up here. This time by will be 61 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, and going back to what, you know, talking about the old Mid-South Madness, kind of where Speed Racing Network kind of got its name. Did you ever run in Mid-South Madness,
I did.
Emerson? Did you join in the last year? The last year was around?
I had spotted for tank racing drivers AJ Pritchett and Devin Zimmerman in that first season, and then I ran that second season of Mid-South Madness at the Charlotte Roval, at Texas, and at Watkins Glen. And then I believe that's when it went through its transition into Speed Racing Network. And for me, I ran the Xfinity Series in the first season of Speed Racing Network. We got a battle for second. Dean Brummett sails it into the inside and tries to clear up in front of Ellison, but Ellison powers up out of turn number 4. They're going to go side by side down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Into turn 1, Brummett and Ellison still going at it. Brummett able to clear in front of the 27.
Yeah, and if you're Dean Brummett, that is exactly what you love to see. A little help right there, as we saw Gabriel Ellison kind of just say, hey, come on by. You're a bit faster than me right now. I'll just follow you.
Well, it wasn't all for naught. Ellison did fight him hard off of turn number 4, but into turn 1, he did eventually concede the position. But they probably had to sort it out quick. As you look here at Balliet, Sturgill, Johnson, and Purnell, they were catching quick if those two continued to be side by side. Here's Johnson on Sturgill, this for 5th. Johnson to the inside, Sturgill trying to keep it up high in that 90 machine, and they'll be side by side off of turn number 4.
I mean, great battles all around the track. You know, we're seeing a lot of people give each other room.
Oh, sideways into the wall goes to 36.
I might have just jinxed it right there, but oh man. Oh, and he hit the wall again.
Latham trying to avoid it, and they're still battling for that 5th position. Sturgill up ahead. Back here, Latham trying to get clear of Purnell. He does now. Herman wants a piece of the action. Herman will have to slot back in line, and nope, here comes Hostler. He will not allow that to be happen oh so easily. Herman will have to race his way past the 61, and he'll clear in front of Lane Hostler.
Yeah, that was a hard lick by Austin Purnell, and unfortunately, I don't think that's something that can easily be buffed out on pit road. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. It did look like he kind of hit it with the back end, which is one of the more tougher spots of the truck. But I guess we'll see coming laps in and kind of see how his truck, if it keeps pace or not.
Absolutely. And speaking about pace, Clean Air has definitely been the name of the game. Reese Schaefer out in front now with his newly found Clean Air advantage. And while Dean Brummett did run about half a tenth quicker the previous lap, Schaefer has been running some great laps here on the long run, maintaining that consistent gap with Dean Brummett, actually gaining there through 1 and 2. Reese Schaefer, he is liking the Clean Air, and I've heard a lot that these setups this season have tended to head towards the understeer direction, and Clean Air, of course, will cause the least amount of understeer. Dirty Air will cause more understeer, and so I'm sure these drivers, if you get into some Clean Air, they will like that a lot better than what they were dealing with in traffic.
Oh, absolutely, Emerson, and as you saw, that as kind of Joshua Balliet just pull a beautiful slide job move on Gabriel Ellison there. And you mentioned again Clean Air. I mean, even for a second, if you decide to kind of just send it in there, and you definitely got that Clean Air on your nose because you're not really following anybody, and that can that makes your car turn a whole lot better than what it is in Dirty Air. So, but again, I am looking at Schaefer and Brummett, and like we saw before when the roles were reversed, these guys are even. I mean, one will run a faster lap time than the other, but if we're looking at the times, I mean, these guys have not gotten more than a second of each other.
Yeah, between the two, it continues to fluctuate between 0.8 and 1 second between one another. Now, it looks like Schaefer has the exit of 4 and the entry of 1 down packed, and I think Brummett's got the exit of 2 and the entry of 3 down packed, which is crazy because they both have advantages on both ends of the speedway, but on either end of the corner, the advantage goes other directions.
Yeah, and if I'm out there right now, honestly, I don't really know what I'd rather be better in. 3 and out of 2 is a really big fast zone right there. Getting the run out of the corner, having that straight shot down the backstretch, carrying all that speed. But being able to to send it in 1 and 2 and kind of keep the momentum is huge too, because a lot of people lose time in 3 and 4. So having that compared to having a better 1 and 2, I just don't know. I think it's one of those things where you're like, why can't I just be good in all corners?
Speaking about all corners, here into turn 3, Purnell tried to send it down to the inside of Latham, and unfortunately Purnell might pay the price and lose a spot to Brad Herman here. And Lane Hostler. Purnell is going backwards.
Yeah, they kind of powerhoused him on the outside there, and unfortunately it doesn't look like that damage is kind of hurting him too much as he's able to keep the speed, but again, it's one of those tracks where you got a train coming on as we have a caution.
Caution is out. And this one is going to be Devin Zimmerman again. Oh my goodness. And
he's just gonna park it. And
that one's out of frustration.
It's like I mentioned, Emerson, as it looks like he got some help there.
Oh goodness.
Oh my gosh. Lane Doyle in another incident, as we seen him in the past couple incidents. I'm kind of interested to see what happened here.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look here into turn number 1. Zimmerman had the inside run, and he pushed up a little too much and entered the corner, and that one was some big time damage.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to be able to continue after that one, and Lane Doyle's got some heavy damage as well. Man, what a tough break for these two guys.
Yeah, Zimmerman, he thought he had it, but he had to keep it there in that middle lane there, and he washed up a little bit more. But Zimmerman, for what it's worth, he has struggled here today. He is not liked the handling of his 33 machine at all today.
Yeah, I mean, Emerson, it is, like I mentioned, before we went green, it is one of those tracks where it's, people love it and people hate it. It's either one. There's no kind of in between. And Dean Brummett actually got the lead out of that. What a stop.
He inversed what happened earlier, Landon, and that might be a winning move. Think about a winning move. Another winning move would be hearing a message from Butt Kicker. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to step aside and hear what Butt Kicker has to say here to Speed Racing Network. Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Darlington Raceway. It is Dean Brummett, the race leader, with that race out of pit lane, and racing commences once again from Darlington. Intense racing fervor back throughout the field, but it's Dean Brummett out in front of Reese Schaefer, Gabriel Ellison, Joshua Balliet, and Michael Sturgill. And things are packing up back here. Markle trying to find its way around Timothy Latham as trucks scrape the wall behind. 43 laps to go. We're all packed up back here.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a huge shout out to the Tyler Markle running in the 13th spot. Again, one of those drivers that's been having kind of a quiet night. I mean, he's one of the guys that lead. Battle for the lead here.
Schaefer tried to send it down to the inside of Dean Brummett and wasn't able to get it done yet, but he's going to certainly try it again. I think Schaefer understood the importance of clean air. Schaefer also ran the fastest lap of the race. Last lap. And so Schaefer has a big run of momentum in his favor.
Exactly, Emerson. And we're looking at, you, like you mentioned, clean air. Is it go time?
It's got to be close, right? And you also have to think we're close on that fuel window. We might be able to make it to the end. It's going to be close. But these drivers are certainly going to be feeling it. It's certainly going to be a tire discussion as we get later into this run. But Schaefer trying to diamond that exit of the corner. Brummett doing perfect off of the corner. He holds station, holds his positioning right there in front of the 17 machine. Fastest lap that time of the race to Dean Brummett.
You mentioned tires, Emerson. I don't think these guys are saving tires at all.
Not right now, no. Oh, goodness. Reese Schaefer, Dean Brummett, they are pushing one another. Two great drivers in this series. Dean Brummett, you think of one of the OGs, one of the drivers who was around for Mid-South Madness. Reese Schaefer, it took him a long time to get to victory lane here in SRN, but he did have pace continuously. And Schaefer trying to continue to make his name and put that 17 truck in victory lane week after week. More of the newer blood here in SRN. And so Brummett and Schaefer, they haven't had too many opportunities to run against one another. But here they are now out in front of the field at Darlington. They are scooting away from everyone else, and they're pushing each other to be faster.
Absolutely. And going back to kind of a nickname that, you know, Reese is called is Mr. Consistent. He's always, and I mean always, battling up there for the lead, no matter what track it is or, you know, what series we're in. And this just proves it right here. I mean, Reese Schaefer is one of those. Oh, wow. That's, Lane Doyle has spun out and hit the wall. No caution.
Truck around that is Lane Doyle in the 47 machine in trouble. No yellow, so we will continue on. That is unfortunate for Lane Doyle's night. Dean Brummett and Reese Schaefer continue to duel it out in front. Latham and McAvoy going at it. Vis 411, Latham gets on through. Getting tight here. Sturgill trying to find a way around Malenko. You see there on the door of that 7 machine.
Yeah, I'm not going to count out, you know, Joshua Balliet too soon. I mean, it kind of looked like on the start he kind of faded off a little bit. Didn't really get that start that he wanted. Kind of lost his spot to Gabriel Ellison there. But as we know, Malenko's, again, another one of those guys that you can kind of call Mr. Consistent as well. He's always up there towards the front. And he's really, really good at saving his stuff. So as we saw the last green flag run that we had, he was passing people, you know. He had the freshest. I personally, I think he had still the freshest tires on the track.
It certainly seemed like it, and it may be the case here. We're watching these drivers do battle here. This is going on for that 4th position. But out in front, it is Brummett and Schaefer. They have driven away from everyone else. 2 seconds clear of the field as the top 2.
Yeah, Emerson, and going back to what we were saying about that last green flag run and how, Reese Schaefer was better in a couple corners that, Dean Brummett was and vice versa. And I'm kind of curious to see, as we're looking at these 2 drivers right now and also looking at the relative, kind of seeing what spots are their best. Maybe it's reverse, maybe it's the same, but I'm curious to see.
They might just both be very good. Balliet ran a faster lap than the both of them that time by, but Schaefer ran faster than Brummett that last lap. And Brummett has had his fair share of laps in his favor. These drivers continue to switch lap after lap. But Balliet setting that kind of a lap, the same lap as the leaders, running in that 4th position, may also spell trouble. That time Brummett with a slightly faster lap, and Balliet with the slowest of the top, slowest of those 3. Ellison a little slower in front of Balliet.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the race is happening right now, it's very, very interesting. I mean, like we mentioned, Reese Schaefer had the fastest lap, but he actually lost the 10th to Dean Brummett, and then we saw Dean Brummett faster than Reese Schaefer, but actually lost the 10th to Reese Schaefer. So it's very interesting to see how this, the times are working here, and again, clean air versus dirty air. And as you can kind of see, we see, Joshua Balliet stuck behind Gabriel Ellison here. It is go time. If I'm Joshua Balliet right now, I am trying everything in my power to get around this 27 truck.
By the way, last lap, Balliet and Brummett, Schaefer and Brummett ran identical laps. That time in the favor of Brummett, but the lap before they ran identical. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Those drivers are nearly matching one another, blow for blow out in front of the field.
You kind of look at it, Emerson, isn't it frustrating when you're trying to run down the top guy, but you're like, oh man, I can't get any faster. We're even.
That's when it's going to come down to the tire game, right? Who's going to have their tire life in 20 laps or so? When there's 10 laps left in the race, who's going to have the life to duel it out? And that may be what it comes down to. If they can stay close, that might be an intriguing battle to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And this track has a little bit of, dual lane kind of racing in this, with the way that the track is built. Especially in 3 and 4, I've seen a lot of people kind of use that high lane so they can get a better run off the corner, but a lot of people also just drive it down to the bottom and kind of just slide up just to get that, corner speed. So I'd be also curious to see if any of these guys kind of.
Oh, here we go. Balliet on Ellison.
Oh,
Balliet
there we go.
Sends it on the 27 machine, and he does get clear into 3rd. And so enter Balliet. If he can chase down those 2 leaders, that may be another thing to watch out for.
Yeah, and Balliet passed him in 3 and 4, and 3 and 4 has been Balliet's strong suit. So definitely excited to see how fast he can get up to these leaders.
Well, we'll see now with all 3 on relatively equal footing, who was able to set faster laps. Dean Brummett, your race leader, and that Todd Bodine throwback. In that 31 machine, Brummett will cross the line. He'll set his lap, and that time Brummett faster than both Schaefer and Balliet by about a 10th.
And Brummett's going to have a little bit of lap traffic coming up here. I don't think it's going to affect him too much, but if Brummett hits him at the right, at the wrong time, then that's definitely going to allow Reese Schaefer to come back up, catch him.
Battle here between Sturgill and Hosler. Hosler gets by the 90 up into 7th position for Lane Hosler. Slow truck down on the inside, but that will about do it in terms of close racing battles. And so We're gonna take a moment here and go all out audio and let the trucks and the sim do most of the talking here. Hope you enjoyed some all-out audio here provided by the iRacing.com motorsport simulation platform. Dean Brummett now has a 9/10 of a second advantage over the 17 of Reese Schaefer. Joshua Balliet sat third, Brad Herman fourth, Ryan Johnson up into fifth, and this is where the action's happening. This is Timothy Latham, a run on Michael Sturgill, this for seventh.
Yeah, and this is kind of, where the battle's been for the past couple of laps. Definitely we got a group of fast drivers right here, and kind of in that spot as we see Austin Purnell get really close with Jordan Sailors right there. Everybody's just trying to get what they can, and as we see Purnell trying to use the bottom again, see if he can get clear of Sturgill. It looks like he does. Good pass right there.
Both Latham and Purnell both get by the 90 of Sturgill, and Sturgill now dropping backwards quickly. He's now got Sailors and Markle caught on his tail, McAvoy and Jensick and Hostler as well. And Sailors and Markle getting close here. Out of the corner, Sailors clears Markle. Now Markle trying to clear in front of McAvoy. He does so. McAvoy tries to drop down low.
Yeah, that's a little bit of defensive driving right there because he knew the 79 was coming.
Oh, pit stops. Here comes Schaefer.
Oh.
So we're not good to make it to the end, Landon.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see when Dean Brummett pits.
I think he's got to come in now, the next lap after Schaefer. He can't allow Schaefer to get that kind of an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here he comes. He's coming down. He knew it. So Joshua Balliette's going to stay out. Balliette will become the leader. Schaefer and... Oh my gosh!
Oh.
Dean Brummett has hit the pit wall! Oh my goodness! Your race leader has crashed at the pit attenuator! Oh no!
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness. Dean Brummett had led so many laps. He had won stage 1, and he was in prime position to do it all again, and he wrecks on a green flag pit stop. But you know what, Landon? That speaks volumes to just how difficult it is to pit here at Darlington, that the best driver in the field made that kind of a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely, Emerson. And I'm speechless. I mean, we didn't really talk about how difficult pit road is, but you're kind of starting to enter pit road on the backstretch, and just the apron, how steep it is. It's not really steep. It's more of just how the angle is, you know, with the egg shape. And as we saw right there, it looks like Dean just carried too much speed, and wow, I haven't seen that before. I mean, that's crazy, especially from the lead.
That is crazy, and we're gonna get a look at it here. Here is the replay. Now, what happened to Dean Brummett? And this one is unfortunate, but he's approaching that pit line, right? Carrying a good amount of speed. He's trying to make up that time he lost to Reese Schaefer by staying out a lap longer, and oh, he starts to slide. He slides under braking. He's correcting the truck. He slides, and he goes straight into the pit attenuator. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about bad luck, that's that right there. I mean, he hit it flush with the barrels. Man, that's just very unfortunate. What a dominant truck Dean Brummett had all day long.
I don't quite know how to go about that one. What I do know is Joshua Balliette is now your race leader, and with 9 laps to go, can anybody make it to the end on fuel?
I don't know. You know, I'm looking at it right now, and we did see, you know, Joshua Balliette kind of fall off the pace a little bit, but maybe it wasn't because of tires. Maybe he was just trying to save as many laps as he could to maybe possibly make it to the end on fuel, but I guess we'll see. Coming to 8 to go.
Another thing, right, is Schaefer came and took 4 tires. If you're staying out this long, Landon, but you still have to pit at the end of the race, you're more than likely taking a splash of fuel. And so your pit stop's going to be significantly shorter.
Yeah, I mean, say if we have a caution right now, we're going to have, you know, the front runners come in. I say they take tires, but then you're going to have Reese Schaefer, who's most likely going to stay out. I mean, he's going to have older tires than the guys who do pit. So it's kind of this late in the run, it's very difficult, especially having a caution, because it's kind of give or take. It's, you know, anything can happen.
And so there's Reese Schaefer. He is now the 3rd truck in line. He is trying to pass Brad Herman. And you know what? I think I want to look at I want to ride on board with like Balliette and others. I want to hear if they're saving fuel into turn 3. We're gonna ride on board with Balliette here into turn 3. There goes Schaefer. And I want to listen to Balliette into the corner. Oh yeah, he's saving.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you can see how early he lifts off the gas. Almost pretty much middle of the backstretch.
And for you viewers, you were able to hear that the truck went silent into the corner, just silent, absolutely silent. And if we go to the static shot here into turn number 3, viewers, you're gonna be able to hear that these trucks are not full power into the corner right here. Silent, dude. It's you gotta listen to this into turn 3. Just so many silent trucks. It is crazy. Oh man.
You love to see it though. Absolutely love to see it.
Well, here it is. 4 laps to go. I feel like at this point you're not gonna pit.
No, you can't. I mean, it's 4 to go. You're already you're already setting yourself up saying, okay, I'm either gonna win this or we're running out at the line, and that's exactly what these guys are doing.
And so the battle for the lead here, Landon, 0.6 of a second between Balliet and Herman. 3 laps to go. Both of them saving fuel. We have no idea what is going to happen. Schaefer, he is setting a blistering pace, trying to get around the track, right? But Schaefer is not going to take advantage of this strategy unless everyone else pits.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, Herman's closing big time.
Yeah. And I'm kind of wondering if Reese Schaefer tried to just short pit and kind of throw Dean Brummett off guard. I mean, he definitely did, Dean having that incident, but with how early that Reese Schaefer pit, I'm surprised that these guys are, you know, staying out here. And with 2 to go, honestly, Emerson, I think they have enough.
Somebody's going to chance it, or this is going to be a very slow final lap. But I think we're about to find out. Palladium Black has had her way with a few drivers tonight, but now the penultimate time through turns 3 and 4, 1 lap to go, and sideways is Kyle Vincent. Gilbert Balliet gets to the white flag. Ryan Johnson starting to slow down on the front straightaway. Can anybody make it to the checkers? 0.4 of a second between the top 2. Sailors is in the pit lane. 0.2 of a second. Can they make it around? Who's going to be able to throttle it out at turn number 4? Balliet's got the lead. Herman's got to run to the line. He's going to block. Brad Herman, he barely, and I mean barely, beats Joshua Balliet.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
We've got slow trucks. Ryan Johnson slow crawls across the line. I mean, we got everyone is crawling to the line. Oh my goodness. And Reese Schaefer is going to finish 12th as a result of that one. Somehow Brad Herman takes that one last second.
I think he's out.
Oh, he's out.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Have you ever?
No, I've never. And he's just gonna bring it down pit lane. No, he's gonna try to roll it around, at least try to get some sort of acknowledgement and celebration on the front straightaway. But Brad Herman is then the one sitting in EPI victory lane, or coasting to it at that.
Wow. That is what a finish. I mean, wow. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. If you're you gotta feel so defeated, right? I mean, either way, a P2 finish is great. You know, you're risking it on fuel. You know what the stakes are. But man, he ran out right off the corner.
Atlanta, you're in the sim.
Off the corner.
Can you see the gap between Herman and Balliet?
No. I mean, it's close, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, well, that's fine. What we do know, though, is we're gonna have the chance to talk to Brad Herman, who somehow, some way, last lap, barely edges out Joshua Balliet in a wild last lap with fuel mileage and drivers coasting it to the line. He tried to throw a block, but he was out of power. But Brad, you went around him and crossed the checkers first. How'd you get that one done?
Oh man, I don't know. It feels great. I always suck in qualifying, so it always puts me behind. But I know I had a good long truck here as the race is going on. I just needed the track position. It's so hard to pass people here, and I was finally getting it. And that last run came, and I was just saving a little bit, and Gabe started saving more than I did, and I was looking at it, and I thought I'd be able to make it, and then Schaefer pits and Dean misses pit road, and I'm just hoping I could save. I started clutching it a little bit, and we were just able to save it enough. I had just enough to calculate it with like 3 to go, I thought, and I fully sent it. And I don't know. I think it was kind of a cheap move to block when you're out of fuel, but what are you going to do? You're trying to win.
I think coming up to the checkers, right? I think anything goes, and that was a very tight race to the line nonetheless. It made for great entertainment for us, Brad. Nonetheless, it gets you a victory, and you come out on top with the win here at the track that's too tough to tame. Brad, you tamed it in all of her tricks. What does that say about you at a track that really demands the most out of drivers' discipline and skill?
It feels good. I usually don't do that great at this track just because turn 3 always bites me. But I was able to keep it out of the fence tonight. I had my head on my shoulders and kept it clean, and really felt like I had a good truck. Just needed the track position, and everything worked out, which is what I needed.
It certainly seemed like that, Brad. And next up, we head to the Queen City with Charlotte. Brad, what do you think about your chances there of potentially going back to back?
I don't know. We'll see. This is a tough group of drivers. I definitely thought I'd be doing a lot better than I did when I started the season, but that's why I'm here. I like the competition, so we'll just keep digging and try to get them next week.
Well, Brad Herman out of Aeons Motorsports, a thrilling last lap with you coming out on top, barely having the field to live, Brad, but congratulations on the victory tonight here at Darlington. Best luck to you next week at Charlotte, man.
Thanks, Emerson.
And that was our race winner, driver of the number 85, Brad Herman. And there's two sides to every story, Landon. You're going to be talking to the driver who just missed out, our second place finisher, Joshua Balliet.
Joshua, it's laying up in the booth. You got a copy? Oh man, Josh. I mean, it was that was crazy. I mean, we saw a bunch of pit strategy going on. We saw where sometimes you would kind of show that you had plenty of speed to run up there with the leaders. And you definitely did all race. But we saw on that final restart that you kind of dropped back a little bit. Were you saving? Did you have in mind that you were going to plan on saving fuel, or were you just kind of saving tires there?
No, I was just chilling like I did on the previous restart, just sitting behind Ellison because I knew Ellison started to struggle at it too. And then about lap, I think it was about 95-ish, I started to 92, 95, I started to save. And then as we were getting closer and closer, it was talk with my spotter, and I was like, damn, if I just save that one lap sooner, I know I'm going to run out right on this front stretch. I knew I was going to run out right there.
Absolutely. And like we mentioned, I mean, I think me and Emerson mentioned that you're kind of considered one of the, Mr. Consistent guys. Same with you and your teammate Reese Schaefer. Reese kind of getting the bad end of the stick. But again, I mean, you ran out of fuel. That's very unfortunate. But you come home P2. I mean, what does this mean? What does this kind of look like going into Charlotte next week?
It was a good run. I didn't really expect to run like this when I started to practice today for the race, but overall, I think this is a decent result.
Absolutely, and again, congratulations on P2. You're oh so close to getting that top spot there. Maybe just a little half a lap of fuel left. Emerson, you got anything?
No, man, I just appreciate the great entertainment that you provided for us tonight. When that thrilling finish It's unfortunate that he came up that one spot short, but definitely going to be able to maintain that point lead with that great performance tonight, Josh. Best luck to you next week in the Queen City.
Yee.
As our second place finisher, driver of the number 7, and we have one last person on the podium to talk to. It is driver of the number 5, Timothy Latham. And Tim, what a wild finish that occurred up in front of you, but you were in your own battle, doing it out with Gabe and others trying to make it down or make it to the checkers. Walk us through that last stint and how you were able to get onto the podium.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty interesting race. From the start I was in fuel save mode on that last run. I had myself mired in traffic, made a mistake on the restart and lost 5 spots. And at that point I was just really focused on saving fuel. And I wish they kind of didn't say anything out loud on the chat. I was hoping some more of those guys would run out and I could pass those other 2. But congrats to Brad. He did a good job staying up there towards the front and have enough fuel there at the end. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting race. I really liked those last couple laps there. Those guys were backing off, and I was starting to pass people, and ended up with P3.
And another great run for you, Tim. You're starting to really rack them up here in the Glytch Truck Series. Next up is Charlie. What do you feel about your chances there to continue a great run and maybe get a couple steps higher up on that podium?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking forward to trying to win every week. I mean, it's something as a driver, obviously you're trying to do, but it's so competitive here, and especially at a track like a mile and a half where it's kind of full throttle a lot. So, you kind of have to work with the draft and everything. So, those type of racetracks are pretty interesting. So it's really anybody's chance there. That's one fun part about it. But we'll see how everything goes. I mean, I feel confident in pretty much most of the races that I enter here. I think all these are good tracks for me that we got on the schedule at least. So I feel pretty confident. I hope I think we can get some more podiums for sure.
Well, there it is. There's a confident driver of the number 5, Timothy Latham, coming on with the podium tonight at the track Too Tough to Tame. Tamed it well enough for a podium. Tim,
Sure.
Congratulations on the podium. Best luck to you next week at Charlotte.
Thank you.
And that was our podium finishers on the evening. Then Landon, and it was definitely a wild one to the checkers. We more than any other race, we have to go through those finishing results, Landon, because those shifted around quite a bit, and we're gonna have that opportunity to go through them here. Gonna be up on your screen, and we'll start going through them. And there it is. Of course, at the top of that finishing chart is Brad Herman with the victory. 2/100ths over Joshua Balliet in that thrilling run to the line. Timothy Latham finishes 3rd over Gabriel Ellison 4th. They had a last lap battle. You saw there on your screen. Latham getting the best of Ellison. McAvoy finishes 5th. Sean Jensick 6th. Ryan Johnson 7th. Lane Hostler 8th. Michael Plytis 9th. And Michael Sturgill the top 10. Landon the next 10.
Yeah, in 11th we have Austin Purnell. 12th, oh man, Reese Schaefer had one of the best trucks all night. Just unfortunately pit strategy did not fall in his way. 13th, Doc Holliday. Good run for him. 14th, Tyler Markle. 15th, Bobby Anderson. 16th, we got Branson McCannon. 17th, Michael York. 18th, Jordan Sailors. 19th, Craig Schroeder. And rounding out the top 20 is Byron McDonald.
Now the rest of Heartbreakers Row, Dean Brummett, man, 21st. That is not indicative of the performance he had tonight. A very fast number 31 machine, throwing it back to Todd Bodine. Albie Hewins in the 22nd position, 22 laps off the pace. Kyle Vincent Gilbert had a struggle today, finishing 23rd, 33 laps down. Lane Doyle, 24th then. In that 47 machine. 25th is Devin Zimmerman, who had many troubles here at Darlington. He'll finish 49 laps down. Connor Cunningham out of tank racing as well. Also had some issues today. He'll finish 26th, 59 laps off the pace. Bradley Brandon, 27th, 62 laps down. And Gerald Poole, 28th, 107 laps off the pace. Now, Landon, I think that's going to wrap up things for the most part here at Darlington. But any final thoughts from the track Too Tough to Tame and how the Lady in Black performed tonight?
Well, she did claim a few victims, and unfortunately, we saw that tonight, kind of in the worst way possible. But other than that, what a great race as always. Had a little bit of everything. We had pit strategy. We had we had the stage caution. A lot of people get stage points, which is perfect for them. We had a lot of passing going on for for positions as well. And then what a outstanding finish with pit strategy. I mean, that was. Unfortunately, that's something that Dean Brummett didn't want to see. Leading into the barrels. Also, Reese Schaefer kind of got the bad stick on the worst end of that stick. But then we saw the battle between Joshua Balliet and Brad Herman, and we did hear Brad Herman kind of mention like, hey, I don't really want to be blocked for if you're out of fuel, but hey. Stuff on the corner, you got to do what you got to do, and we definitely saw that. I mean, what an outstanding race.
We were definitely privy to a great show here tonight at Darlington, and of course, also our partners here at Speed Racing Network were as well. Fiverr, Glytch, and Z-Grills, of course, our series partners. Glytch, use promo code SRN10 on Glytch on the website for 10% off of your Glytch purchases. Z-Grills. Admin Box has been on your screen all day long. Admin Box, the starting grid, and use code SRN-BOXX for 10% off of your Admin Box purchases. Butt Kicker, of course, presenting our commercial partner for Speed Racing Network, EPI, taking care of Victory Lane and Select Blinds, of course, providing our incident replays for the evening. A huge shout out to all of our social media outlets as well. Our Facebook page at facebook.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Twitter at Speed Racing Net. Our Instagram at Speed Racing Network. Our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Twitch at Speed Racing Net. LinkedIn, of course, at linkedin.com/company/Speed Racing Network. And of course, the website where you can catch up with all news and points and stats and updates and all that jazz at speedracingnetwork.com. And that's where you will see the updated points after Brad Herman's wild victory here at Darlington. Well, Landon, I think that'll do it then from Darlington. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us for tonight's race, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. And for all at Speed Racing Network, then I had Landon Cardullo along myself, Emerson Ard, in the booth this evening. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night when the Z-Grills Xfinity Series has their tango with the Lady in Black, or next Wednesday night when the Glytch trucks head to the Queen City and virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway.